Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com, and I have a special announcement to make, so I thought I'd do a little video so you can hear me talk about this instead of just a blog post or a link on Facebook. And for about 7 years, I've been progressively, more intensely and more thoroughly and kind of across many levels, channeling the Ascended Master Djehuty, aka Thoth or Thoth, and Saint Germain and Merlin. And in order to be able to do that, I've received a number of software upgrades. That's what I would think of them. If you think of your brain itself as hardware, and kind of the level of consciousness you're running would be software, kind of the thing that can be upgraded and changed. And I've received a number of these upgrades. It's kind of incredible. So that, like after one of them, for example, I was hearing the vibration of truth or not truth in what people said, much beyond what they were actually saying. And so I didn't have to listen to the words because I was focusing on the truth. At other times, able to see multidimensional diagrams. Djehuty was showing me about how soul relates to its many human lives across the Earth timeline. So all these different, what I would call software upgrades. And recently I was looking at what my next step as a channel is after after offering MP3s for several years and calls with Djehuty, where whether he's just doing a teaching or people can ask questions and get specific answers to health problems or any kind of issues in their lives. Going from that to channeling books, and there are 4 channeled books now, and then also a 5th that combines all of them together. And going from there into full moon grounding and release calls. And honestly, every time it goes one step further and there's a new format or new form, I don't imagine what's next. I just surrender to the process of doing that as open-heartedly and as openly as I can. And after 4 of the full moon calls, we just had the 5th one, so this was several weeks ago, and I've been working on designing this for a while. I sat down with Djehuty and looked at what my next steps are as a channel in general, and then also as a carrier of his teachings. And he pointed out that the work we're doing on the full moon calls, and all the recordings of each one are available through my site as well currently, and I'll add the link here down below so you can see that. But that's a process where basically I'm holding space for all the callers, and Djehuty and I do energy work and affirmations to help callers release beliefs, attitudes, etc. from the past related to the theme of the full moon that they no longer need, and surrendering energies, and in the process doing these affirmations, and the 2 of us do energy work on each caller. So this is a very powerful, profound thing. For an hour at a time, for anywhere from 10 to 25 people, as we've done these calls for. And the next step, as it turns out, is for me to host what is called a consciousness upgrade clinic. So all the software upgrades that I've received have brought me to the point where I'm able to do this for you. At times when I do personal readings for people, individual private readings on phone or Skype or whatever, people all over the world ask for different things like this. So this is something I do on a regular basis, one-on-one. How can I integrate this past life part? How can I deal with this inner child that causes trouble? How can I understand this fear? How can I release this? How can I understand this health issue? All of these things require some form of software upgrade or consciousness upgrade. Many times, even just basically my astrology readings, the most basic one is somebody says, this terrible situation or this thing that's very painful is occurring, and it seems to be occurring on a regular basis. What can I do about it? And then we help them understand why it's happening so that their consciousness can wrap itself around this experience as a creation of the divine being that this person is. So this happens. But I do this with people in different ways on minor levels, but never for this upgrade clinic. It's going to be 2.5 hours on the phone. Never for that long, and also, and I'll spell out the steps that we're going to go through, or at least kind of give you the headlines on each section of the call. But this is a brand new thing. I'm excited to do it. It's empowering for me to step into this role of helping a group of people, several dozen people likely, at least, to alter consciousness in a favored direction. Now, as I've experienced these things, I've said to Djehuty or my guides, they're kind of in cahoots with each other, I've said, I wish to understand this topic, or I wish to understand better how to deal with this part of life, or something like this. And when the time is right, this happens. When the time is right, I wake up and something's different, or I'm going to bed and I can feel them working on me, or something's happening. And it tends to be kind of a profound experience that is seems isolated, though I can look back over 7 years and see a string of them and see how they're connected. But they happen kind of in answer to a request I make. But what we're doing is we're scheduling a time for people, you, to call in to get your own upgrade in an intentional, scheduled, structured way. And that is also new. This is something that I believe that we'll continue to offer periodically. It won't be on every month, like we do the full moon grounding and clearing calls every month. And that is appropriate to do every month. This would be a quarterly or semi-annual thing. But this particular one happens when the full moon in Aries, so the sun's in Libra, the moon will be in Aries, and the moon will be conjunct Uranus in Aries, which is a huge deal. So basically, the sun in Libra will be showing us how we can try to create balance, or try not to rock the boat, or something like that. Show us what we perceive we need with another or from another. And the moon in Aries will say, you got to do something on your own. Quick, quick, quick. Instinct. What's your gut say? You don't have time to overthink something. You have to do something. And then conjunct Uranus in Aries, this huge thing, this huge indicator of needing to free ourselves. So, after that fourth full moon call, it became apparent to me, this kind of information started leaking through from Djehuty, kind of seeping through into me. And so I did a write-up. There's a 2-page PDF on my site that I'll link to here. But the Consciousness Upgrade Clinic will take place at high noon Pacific time, 12 noon Pacific time, for 2.5 hours on September 29th, Saturday, September 29th. And so a lot of people, people in the UK can take advantage of this, and people in different parts of the world. I have international call-in numbers, conference call numbers, and routinely on these kinds of things, I have people in Australia and the UK and sometimes other countries call in. So if you're seeing this video from somewhere else on the planet and this interests you, it's definitely possible and probable that you can join in. So I'd like to run through the themes of what, well, the themes have to do with freeing ourselves by trusting instinct. But there's a really important thing to talk about with a full moon in Aries, where the light of reason with the sun will say, you should probably not move that fast. But the instinct, the visceral feeling sensation of the moment says, move quickly, make a decision, rely on yourself, trust your instinct. And so that's kind of a lot of what the themes are. And so it's about freeing ourselves from the past, because we have to add in Uranus and Aries. And then the full moon will also square Pluto and Capricorn. So all the stuff about Pluto and Capricorn squaring Uranus and Aries, and taking back our power from structures in our lives to which we forfeited our power, our strength, our self-confidence, our ability to feel good about ourselves and chart the course of our lives. Taking back that power by coming to trust our instinct. That's the kind of landscape. And I want to explain to you the steps of this consciousness upgrade. Now, normally on these full moon grounding calls, for which anybody can register, and thus far they've been on a donation basis, $10 to $25 on a sliding scale, no questions asked. Just kind of open it up, and you pay 10, you pay 11, you pay 25. One person paid 41 time because she found so much benefit from it. So suggested range 10 to 25. And that counts for the time being for also the 5 existing recordings from full moon in, oh my gosh, the last one was Pisces. First one was Scorpio and then into Pisces. So in common with the full moon grounding and releasing calls, grounding deeply to the earth, including doing energy work on blocks in your lower chakras, which a lot of people do have for different reasons, that keep them from connecting to the earth, feeling comfortable in their bodies, or allowing the energy of the earth to come into your body. It's the single most important tool that you can put in your arsenal right now, is grounding to the earth on a regular, consistent, proactive basis. The second one is releasing attitudes, beliefs, ideas, and attachments to attitudes, beliefs, and ideas, and also things in relationships that don't serve you. And that's a part of the call where we do affirmations, and Djehuty and I do energy work on people to support things. So basically, you know, if we're dealing with 20 or 25 people, here's my trade secret. I call them all together into kind of this kind of an avatarish or prototype kind of one person. And maybe 10 people have this issue out of the 25, but it shows up when I'm looking at all the people together. And then we do that work on them. And that ripples out to everybody. So even if you don't have a particular block in a chakra, you receive benefit from that joint work together. And all the affirmations that we give you can be used later for amazing results. So those two are what are in common with the full moon calls. What we're adding to this is tuning your frequency to the Ascended Master Djehuty's. That's an incredible opportunity. If you know how to channel, and you come, or you talk to me for a reading, or you come into a channeling event, then you can do this. But most of us don't have software upgrades enough to be able to, you know, we can take in the information, we can feel the vibration, but to actually adjust our radio dial to the Ascended Master is not something we really know how to do. We might walk out of a channeling thing and say, that felt amazing, and that's kind of part of the benefit, but this is a specific upgrade to tune your frequency to that of Djehuty. That's the first thing. The second thing is a structured tour through the process of accepting your power as a divine being. If you're familiar with my work, you know that I am harping on this constantly. This is like, you know, I have one song that I play on my little record player, and it's this, accepting your power as a divine being. And Djehuty's that way too. That's why we're a good fit together. Because we have this similar thesis statement for what we're about, and it's getting humans to accept their own power by accepting all of their experiences as creations of themselves as divine beings, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones. So, a structured tour through that process. And then the next one is calling back and reintegrating fragments. Djehuty taught me how to do this. It's a modified, like if it came in a different context and through somebody you would typically call a shaman, you'd call it soul retrieval. But it's a different process that empowers you to call back fragments. And I'm really excited to do this. This is the first time that this will be offered to a group, though I do it with individuals all the time. And it's been something that I've been thinking about codifying and writing down, the process that Djehuty has taught me, and how to do this. And as it is, I've probably done it for about 30 or 40 people and taught it to maybe 4 or 5 people, like really. So this is a special thing to call back fragments. Parts of us split off when we have traumatic experiences, traumatic, not dramatic. Other times they're past life parts that occasionally bleed through but don't really know how to exist with us full time. Sometimes they are parts that leave because we are bored or stressed or uninspired or trying to be less conscious. And other times there are parts of us experience stress of a moment that may not be classically traumatic, but long-term stress is trauma, and so they might leave then as well. So some of them are kids, some of them are past life parts, but we're going to call back fragments across time and integrate them, and as you have the recording, even if you're kind of in an altered state, which you would be, you'll be able to glean, you'll be able to kind of write down the steps in the process later and use it for any parts of you that you want to call back across time. So it's like soul fragment retrieval and inner kid retrieval across time. That is going to be worth the entire call, for, you know, even if all these other steps, because this is incredibly important. Basically, when you have a problem, when you have something you don't know how to fix, or you have a lack of ambition, or you have a stressor and you're not quite sure how to deal with it, or you become conscious of a brick wall that you're always hitting in any arena of life, there is a part of you somewhere across time, somewhere out there, right, that knows how to deal with this. I guarantee you. And I mean, I've gotten this wonderful teaching, and I call back parts of myself on a regular basis when I feel stuck in any way. And so that's going to be a huge part of this call too. And that's one of the reasons why the call is 2.5 hours. These other things probably could take up to an hour, but this calling back fragments is a huge thing. And then the last part, which is related to the calling back fragments and reintegrating them and teaching you to do so, is aligning resistant parts of you to the direction of life that you choose for yourself now. And essentially, most of the time when I work with clients, they say something like, I have a goal, I have a plan to execute and manifest that goal, but I sabotage myself, or I keep running up against not knowing something, and then the self-judgment, and then I never get there. And this part of the call will be designed to align parts of you that don't need to be called back, but are present with you, that don't know how to surrender to your direction and to what the purpose that you have chosen for your life. So this is an incredible opportunity. I'm completely thrilled to be able to offer this for you, and I've been thinking about how to talk about it, because I can see, I was shown this arc, and basically I've received all this work from Djehuty and my guides, and I have done this work for other people, but so I know all this, I know how this works and how it goes together. And then I just really needed to sit with it for a few weeks and be able to figure out how I was going to talk about it, and what is the value of it, because I see the value. I don't want to say I take it for granted, but I might not always see all of the important points. And so that's what I'm working on right now. And there'll be a series of blog posts from me emphasizing these different steps of the process that we're going to go through on the Consciousness Upgrade Clinic to kind of answer questions like, well, why would I want that? Why would I need that? And so to end this video, I'll say that the reason that you want to do this is because parts of you might not know how to get you into your next evolutionary phase. Certain parts of you might resist through self-sabotage. Parts of you might judge yourself. Parts of you might judge yourself for something that you did in another life. On the last, a couple days after the last full moon call, the Pisces one from a few days ago, where the emphasis, it took place on August 30th, and the emphasis was on surrendering to the truth of being a divine being, Pisces full moon, as opposed to the eagle eye, inner accountant keeping track of all the things that we've done that are terrible, that we should judge ourselves and hate ourselves for. And the woman on the call, who had been on, I think, at least 3 of the previous calls, maybe all 4 of them, and she routinely responds with really positive comments, which I always appreciate, and feedback, letting me know this is the result, which is great. And what she said is that she felt a ghost coming to her in her kitchen, and that's been something that, I think that's why she first called me, actually, was to talk about stuff in her house, and we helped clear some of it out and teach her what was going on. And she felt this ghost had been a suicide and was drawn to her because she had suicide in another life. She had committed suicide, and realized when this happened after this full moon call that the part of her shaped by that was really resisting the process of the call. And she was able to have a shift. She was able to have a consciousness shift by choosing to let herself off the hook, forgive herself, and love herself anyway, which was the main thrust of this Pisces full moon call. So these these changes can be seismic, in the words of another client who's been on every one of the calls, or most of them. So this is why do you want to be on this 2.5 hour incredible clinic? You want to evolve. You want to be happy. You want to have a more healthy approach to whatever in your life vexes you. And you want to be more grounded and clear of energies, including judgments and fears that you carry from the past. And you want to be more whole. Everybody needs that. This is what keeps me in business. People wanting to be whole, trying to forgive themselves, trying to understand themselves better. And these consciousness upgrades will put you in the direction of seeing the bird's eye perspective on why your life is unfolding the way it is. Once you have this upgrade, and it's relative. Like for me, if I went through this clinic, I'd get an upgrade, but it might not be the same as somebody who'd never experienced anything that Djehuty offers. Or it might be different from somebody who's had 2 readings with me and listened, and read a channel book. But there's an upgrade for everybody, and there are limitless upgrades because we're always processing the past in new ways. But this is going to give you, and you'll have the recording which also anchors this, but it gives you the opportunity to access Djehuty's level of consciousness on a more regular basis. And that's probably worth multiple times the cost of the call. Until the end of September 14th, it's $41, and after that the price goes up. I'm doing an early bird discount on this. And you will have the recording after the call that you can access and go through the process again. So thanks for your time, thanks for your attention and energy. My name is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com. Again, this is all about the Consciousness Upgrade Clinic that will take with Ascended Master Djehuty. That will take place on Saturday, September 29th, from noon to 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Please join me for the call. It's going to be amazing and incredible and fantastic and seismic and life-altering. Bye-bye. Take care.